I want to say, I know this is a Sixer channel, this is Sixers Universe. My videos have been on off and mostly Sixers, but back during the MVP race a year ago, last year's MVP race, I made a video on why I believed that Joel should have won it that year, and obviously he won it this year. And in that video, I said that the main difference between the two centers, or the main difference I and many others perceived at the time, was the defensive end of the floor. Obviously, Nikola Jokic played inspired in his playoffs from start to finish on the defensive end of the floor. That's the reason the Denver Nuggets have won this championship. Nikola Jokic, really, he took the bull by the horns, and really what makes Nikola Jokic is just how persistent. That's the number one thing. I have never seen a superstar as persistent as Nikola Jokic. Is the ball going to a certain area in the paint, I'll go and tip it. Do you need me to cut off ball in the middle of Miami zone? I'll do that. I'll flash to the middle of the floor and I'll hit a 15-foot jump shot. I can flash in the middle of the floor and they'll send a double team. I have the willingness and the desire to kick it out to shooters or even throw inside the paint. Easy little lob for Aaron Gordon. They've hooked on that connection for years. Just absolutely outstanding. And it affects the entire team. The team plays like Jokic. There was a critical play in the fourth quarter where they swung the ball out, and it would have been a pretty good look. They swung the ball again. It was an even better look. They swung the ball again, and he's fucking wide open for 30 feet. I've never seen anything like that, where you passed up good looks, not just to get a great look, but a fucking practice shot. Like, I'll tell you what, Bill Jackson would have been proud of that offensive possession in the critical juncture of the fourth quarter. That possession right there, and because it's such an iconic possession, I don't know if Denver fans will feel that way, but to me, as someone who doesn't watch Denver basketball all the time, that possession, that swing possession, for a wide open 30-foot three, literally two guys having a good shot, an open shot, 28 out of 30 teams would have taken that shot. They swing it to a guy who's even more wide open, and he knocks it down. That shot to me is iconic and symbolic of everything Nikola Jokic has built over 8 years in Denver. Just outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Best player in the world. This whole best player in the world thing that's kind of spread up over this last few years stretch is because LeBron is obviously 38, the Lakers are kind of done, same thing with Steph. So this whole best player in the world thing, at first a lot of people were putting Giannis there, and Giannis kind of had a little bit of a lead. And as Philly fans, we were trying to, I want to make a quick distinction, because Denver fans have the right to be upset about what Kendrick Perkins said. It was nonsense. There was no basis in fact for it. And I can't speak for every Philly fan, but I can only speak for myself, and not only totally denouncing it, but it was never my argument. It was never my argument that, they must have voted for Nikola Jokic because he's white. Something so vague like that, you can't. Could one or two voters maybe think along such lines, as unfortunate as it is? Yeah. Look at the history of this country, etc. situation. I couldn't say absolutely not. I'm not in everybody's head. But I will say that I think even making that comment does a disrespect to the people who vote on not only that award, but all the awards. And it does a disrespect to the seriousness that they take the voting with. So even if I were to give that caveat, it's still extremely out of line, extremely disrespectful, And it's categorically not true. And it was never an argument that I specifically made. So I want to make that clear that Nikola Jokic, my argument this year, I didn't post it on YouTube at the time, especially on time that would have been should have done that, obviously. But my argument this year was along the lines of DeMarcus Cousins. And I know you guys were hurt. Jamal Murray was out for 2 years, which that hurt Jamal Murray as much as it hurt the Denver Nuggets playoff thing. Because Jamal Murray should be looked at as an all-NBA guard. He should be looked at as one of the top 5 guards in the league. But because he was injured, didn't play enough games, we don't get him in the All-Star game, obviously for valid reasons, because there were other players who were healthier who played pretty good ball themselves. Like De'Aaron Fox made the All-Star team, I think, this year. Arguably well-deserved, in my opinion. But Jamal Murray's skill level, for a lot of people who thought it was a bubble run, nah, at home crowds and away crowds, Jamal Murray balled up. So this is also a credit. I've never really doubted Murray. I never had any reason to. Honestly, the whole talk about the players simply surrounded the MVP. When it came out, the players that weren't a part of that, I always thought Jamal Murray was a good player. You know, great player. I didn't really watch him to say one way or the other, really. But I never doubted that Jamal Murray was a good basketball player. You know, even coming out of the draft, 6'4", Kentucky guard. It's a Kentucky guard. We should know. If you're drafted from Kentucky, generally you'll do well. But because of the injuries, the NBA voting community and the likes weren't able to get Jamal Murray the recognition he deserves. Hey, Jamal, that changes next year, unless you get hurt again. You know, knock on wood. I really want him to ball out and have a tremendous season. I'm just saying that's the only caveat where if his stats are comparable to every other guard stats and Denver's still on top of the Western Conference, Jamal Murray's getting an All-Star game. You know, if the Denver Nuggets finish top of the league, I think he'll be one of the All-NBA guards. So I really do think that Jamal Murray, he's going to finally be recognized for the talent that he has. So shout out to Jamal Murray, you know, the perfect Batman Robin to the Batman that is Nikola Jokic. And there's Nikola Jokic. Before I say what I want to say here, I want to mention what my argument was. My argument was the same argument that DeMarcus Cousins had, who was a former teammate last year, so don't shoot the messenger or the messenger just did. Where DeMarcus is like, you have plenty of time to win MVPs, but the whole 3-time MVP thing would put him in the category of Will and Michael, and whether fair or not fair, injuries, whatever the situation is, there just wasn't the body of work to say, not to say that he isn't an MVP caliber player, but there wasn't the body of work to say, okay, you are Michael Jordan level. You are Wilt Chamberlain level. There wasn't the record. Sure, there were the numbers. This guy puts up numbers. And I mentioned earlier why, you know, at the start of the video, the tenacity, the focus, the willingness to make. Nikola Jokic is a superstar and plays like a role player. That is the weirdest thing to say until you watch him play. Nikola Jokic, he doesn't mind. If he has to dive on the floor for a rebound, he'll do that. Although he's 7 foot, so you really have to do that. But Nikola Jokic will outwork you. Like, Bam Adebayo is giving him the business in this game. Bam Adebayo is being physical as hell. And he still has 28 points and 14 rebounds. I never seen such tenacity from a player. He plays with such tenacity. And how can I not love that as a Philadelphian? Tenacity is what it's all about. Sure, he's not going to be that rah-rah in-your-face guy. He's not going to be some showboat guy. But what he does show, what he does perform, is on the court when the laces get laced up. That's what it's all about for Nikola. And I'm inspired. I am inspired, and, I do hope that Joel takes inspiration from this. Because I do believe that could be Joel. I do believe that from a talent perspective, I'm just saying, from a talent perspective, I still don't believe that the gap is that wide. Jokic proved that there is a gap, but I believe that Joel can close it. I truly do. And so I hope he takes that inspiration to take his game to another level. And I'm going to have a video on what that new level is. A hint is that me and Nick Nurse agree 200% on how the offense should be looking and what Joel should be looking in it. And if he takes that to heart, what Nick Nurse is expecting and what I'm going to be expecting, I think that gap can close. Yeah, that's my little short 30 seconds for Sixer fans. For Nugget fans, I want to reiterate this video is for you, to congratulate you on a tremendous championship, start to finish, best record in the league, best team in the league, best players in the league. Let's talk about Christian Braun. Nugget fans, if you'll excuse me, I want to use this also to say, fuck you to Doc Rivers. Fuck you. You see what Christian Braun did in this NBA Finals. Game 3 literally wins Denver the game. 16 points or 7 for 8. And in the game-clinching Game 5, 9 points, 4 rebounds, tenacious defense. Now, let me ask you a question. Shout out running back Billy DJ Eastwood, who usually uses this question. Now I'm going to use it. Would Doc Rivers play Christian Braun a single second? 1 second. Do you think he played Christian Braun a single second? The answer is no. And somebody say, oh, well, he's fired. I know he's fired. I'm using this to say, fuck off. Why did his team have to cut Isaiah Joe? Why did his team have to cut Charles Bailey? Why? For your ego that could never see what a player could become. What if I invested time into developing this young player? Charles Bailey, 6'10", 250. Does he translate? I don't know. But I had a first-round grade on him. I thought he was a physical big man. I thought he could grow strong in the post. I thought, oh my God, you draft this guy in the second round, and he gets to play behind Joel Embiid or learn from Joel Embiid. I thought this could be an amazing project. And you go and you cut him. After your coaching staff is like, he's ready. In a game, ironically, against Nikola Jokic, where you get like 3 blocks, you play competitive. That frustrates me. Isaiah Joe played less than 1,000 career minutes. And I don't think Sixer fans understand that. This guy plays less than 1,000 career minutes. There's nothing you can judge from that. Nothing. The player didn't play good or bad. He just didn't get to play, period. And because of that, you waiver Joe, even though you had a roster spot. And then he goes for Oklahoma City. And it's not like he put up amazing numbers, but he shot the three at 43%. A movement casual shooter. What do we say we need next to James Harden and Joel Embiid? Shooters. You have it on your roster, but because you're so pig-headed, because you're so ignorant and biased and narcissistic, you couldn't possibly play the young player. Dan Burke comes in for 2 games, plays Isaiah Joe, produces. You would think the Doc would come back and say, hey, Joe is looking pretty good. Let me extend his run a little bit. Hell no. So, fuck you, Doc Rivers, but the Sixers losing 2 young players for absolutely nothing. And see you on your way out the door. Obviously, since someone else hired you, possibly the retirement. Thank God. And, it's funny. There was a Nugget fan who edited in Michael Malone as one of the top 15 coaches of all time. I'll agree with that. I mean, if the bottom bearer is one championship, obviously Michael Malone has one championship. But I'm not saying they're equal, not even close. Michael Malone has those guys playing hard. He has them playing together. He has them playing the right way. He has them even keeled. Michael Malone is going to be a hell of a coach. And you know, there's only one victim of success. For me, I wanted David Adelman as the Sixers head coach. I really want to take the system, you know, just like in the NFL, emulate, copy off the winner, right? So, don't get me wrong, I love Nick Nurse. I think Nick Nurse is going to get us where we want to go. But my point being is that the Nuggets had this deep run and all the openings are filled. But I know this. I believe that David Adelman should be an NBA head coach. I believe he should be. And I believe he's going to be one day. You know, obviously not here, but that is the only drawback to this wonderful season for, no, it's not a drawback for the Nugget fans, but it's definitely a drawback for Adelman. You know? But maybe he also likes it in Denver, who knows? But anyway, just what Denver was able to build is what I want to build. And there will be more on that in a follow-up video because I don't want to get too detracted. So I'll conclude here. Denver fans, Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. 2-time MVP, 1-time MVP runner-up. If you want to argue he should have won it, I am not going to fight you on it. Because in this playoffs, Nikola Jokic proved the one reason that I didn't want to give it. He proved he is a Wilt Chamberlain caliber player. He proved he is a Larry Bird caliber player. What we are watching right now is the best player in the league. If some people want to still argue with the world thing, whatever, that's fine. But what's unquestionable is that Nikola Jokic right now is the face of the NBA. A passer, a scorer, a rebounder, a solid defender, the complete package in the NBA. So, to me, since he proved it, I'll give it to you. Maybe you should have won 3 in a row. You know. That being said, I am a Sixer fan, and as upset as I am with Joel Embiid, and I am very much upset about how that series went, I can't abandon my guy to the point where I say it was still a pretty damn good year for him, individually speaking. You know. But I'm sure even he would probably say something to the effect that, you know. But 2-time MVP, 1-time obviously runner-up. But even with the runner-up, that's 3 times that he's been named one of the best players in the world. And he is the best player in the world. So 2-time MVP, 1-time MVP runner-up, 1 NBA champion, and 1 NBA Finals MVP. That outdoes Giannis Antetokounmpo, who won the 1 championship and 1 MVP. And Jokic gets 2 MVPs and 1 championship and 1 finals. Some might say that that's arbitrary, but you go and ask Shaquille O'Neal if it's arbitrary. Sixer fans, a video is going to come up on how this series make me feel related to the Sixers. I sprinkled in a little bit here and there, but this is for Denver Nugget fans. Congratulations. Enjoy the night. And here's the tip of Philadelphia. Grease the poles. Does Denver have poles, though? I'm pretty sure they do, but signing off.